Okay, so this is another redo video where I redo the word problems from 1-3. Sorry it didn't work out great. So, let's jump right in. It says, some friends want to see a movie that is showing at 2 different theaters in town. They plan to share 3 tubs of popcorn during the movie. Notice that I've highlighted that. Theater A charges a ticket price of $14.50 and a theater price of $13. Popcorn is $5.75 a pail and $6.75 a pail at Theater B. A asked us which movie theater should the friend choose. Explain. I'm going to argue that they should probably choose Theater A. Let's talk about why. So first things first, I'll show you A. Well, Theater A, if they have more than 3 friends, I think they should choose that one. That's the kicker. How do I know this? Well, I set up some equations. I let my X be the number of tickets that me and my friends buy. Then I set my A up. Well, we know that it's $14.50 a ticket for Theater A, so it's $14.50X, because that's how many tickets I'm going to get. And we know they charge $5.75. That's a little steep, but $5.75 for some popcorn. And we're going to buy 3 tubs, so times 3. When I simplify it all out, that's 14.5x plus 17.25. That's just for Theater A. For Theater B, we're going to do 13x because it's $13 per ticket. And then it's 6.75 times 3 because we're getting 3 tubs of popcorn and their top popcorn is $6.75. So when we put it all together, 13x plus 20.25 is what we have. So, looking at it based on popcorn, based on everything else, I think that it's going to be Theater A. But guess what? There's a for sure way for me to know. In order for me to know, we'll look at part B. For what situation would the total cost at each theater be exactly the same? You've got to know when it's exactly the same in order to know when it's the best price. So let's look at part B. You got 2 options here. You can plug and chug, which means keep plugging in numbers till you figure out which one's the same, or we can set the equations equal to each other, which is the easier one. So, notice that we have 14.5x plus 7.25, which is Theater A, equal to Theater B, 13x plus 20.25. Now we can solve it easily. Subtract 13x on both sides. Then we do 1.5x plus 17.25 equals 20.5, and we subtract the numbers, 17.25 on each side. And last, but certainly never least, we get 1.5x equals 3. Finally, we divide by 1.5 on each side, and we get x is equal to 2. So when 2 friends are going to each theater, it costs the same. So for number 3 friends, it's going to be A. That's easier. So part C just tells you that there are multiple different methods and which one's the best. The different methods are guess and check. I guess you could have made a table or an equation. I circled equation because it's always the best way. Yay! Alright, so now let's talk about solving some problems. So this says solving mixture problems. These are not the same mixture problems as we did in our other video. I know we hated those. This is one that has to do with coffee. So we got Arabica coffee, it's $28 per pound, and Robusta coffee, which is $8.75 per pound. How many pounds of Arabica coffee must you mix with 3 pounds of Robusta coffee to make a blend that costs $15 per pound? The best way to make this work is to create a table. I've already created it for you on this one, so I'm going to show it. We want to create it where we have a section for price per pound times amount equals total. There's Arabica. We know we have 28 per pound for Arabica, but we don't know how much we need because it says how many pounds we're up there. So we have A. Then our total cost is 28A because however much we have, it's 28 times that per pound. Now let's talk about Robusta. It's $8.75 per pound. And we know we're going to have 3 pounds of it. So what's our total cost? Well, it's 3 times 8.75. If you type that in your calculadora, you get 26.25. And finally, this coffee mix of them both. A coffee blend, I called it. Well, it's $15.50 per pound. That's what we want it to cost. We know we need 3 of a Robusta, but we also need some amount of Arabica, right? We named that A. So what's the total cost? Well, it's $15.50 times however much Arabica plus however much of Robusta, which is 3. Now all that's left for us to do is make an equation. So we set 28A plus 26.25. Because fairly, that should be the price, right? However much of Arabica plus however much Robusta should give us our coffee blend. That is our coffee blend. Well, what's the price of our coffee blend? Well, it's $15.50 times whatever A plus 3 is. So theoretically, these two should be equal. So we can figure out how much Arabica by adding it all together and solving for A. So first things first, we distribute and we get our 15.5 plus 46.5. Then we go ahead and subtract our 26.25 on each side. Bringing that down, we get 28A is equal to 15.5A plus 20.25. Sorry about that. There you go. Give you time to look at it. Finally, last but not least, we subtract our A's on each side, because remember, A's on one side, numbers on the other. And then last, but certainly never least, we have 12.5A is equal to 20.25, so we're going to divide. And then that's going to give us 1.62. Since this is a word problem, we can't just leave it like that. So you must mix 1.62 pounds of Arabica coffee with 3 pounds of Robusta coffee to make a coffee blend that is $15.50 per pound. So now what I'm going to do is quickly show you your learning. The only thing different in the try it is that it changes Arabica coffee from 3 pounds of a Robusta to 5 pounds. And we still are looking for the amount of Arabica coffee. And instead of $15.50 per pound, it wants you to do 12. I'm going to show you what it should be since this is a redo video. And I want you to pause. I want you to try it on your own. Can you get what I got? Alright. Now let's try a different problem. One you're going to pay to download songs from Apple. Nowadays, we have Spotify, and I can't even play. I have Spotify too. But let's pretend we're back in the olden days where we had to pay per song. So Cameron here is paying 95 cents per song with his current plan. He heard of a new service where it charges 0.89 per song, but he's got to pay a $12 joining fee. Should he switch? Well, in order to know if he should switch, we need to know quite a few different things. The first thing we need to know is we need to let X be the number of songs. Well, then our current plan is 0.95X. Our new plan is 0.80. Well, let's figure out when they're equal to each other. Well, we set them equal to each other. Then we subtract 0.89x on each side. And we get 12 is equal to 0.06x. When we divide 0.06x on each side, we get 200 equals x. That means at 200 songs, it costs the exact same thing. So what does this mean? Well, if he downloads 200 songs, the price is the same for both. If he plans to download more than 200 songs, he should switch to the new service, because it's going to cost less than the one he has now. Is there a way to check this and make sure we're right? Well, let's take a look over here. I decided he was going to download 250. That's more than 200, right? With his current plan, it's 0.95 times 250. I get 237.5. With the new plan, it's 0.89 times 250 plus 12. You get 234.5. The new plan is cheaper. So that's how we did it. Take a look at the show you're learning. Cameron's friend tells him about another service. This time, it's a $15 joining fee. Second time, it's $80 per song this time. We want to look at the current one, which was his 95 cents per song, and see when does it become a better option to switch. Well, here's how I solved it, and I'm going to leave that on the screen for you to take a look at. I want you to pause, try it on your own, see if you can get what I do. Alrighty. We got another So those are the type of word problems that you have. I didn't go over too many of these, but I'm sure that you'll do great. I'm sorry that this video is super short, but it is just kind of a review from what we did in class. If you need any help, please let me know. Again, I'm happy to help. Now, the last thing we did in class was a quick review of all things equations. So notice, if you get x is equal to some number and x equals 0 is a number, then you only have one solution, one value that makes it true. If you get 0 equals 0, you have a true statement. A true statement tells you infinitely many solutions. And if you get 0 is not equal to 6, so equal to 6, it's a false statement, you have no solution. I want you to simplify each of these. So notice it does it for us. 2m equals 8 minus 6m. Well, we're trying to get variable on one side, number on the other, so we add 6m to each side, so we get 8m. Well, notice the next one. We subtract 9 on both sides, 9x, and we get negative 6x. Here, we got 4 times 3t. That just means 12t, right? So we're going to subtract 2t. Nope, we're going to add 2t. See, easy to make the mistake. Add 2t on each side and get 14t equals 12. 4y equals 3 times 3y minus 4. So we're going to get negative 5y equals negative 12. Because we get 9y minus 12 when we distribute, so we subtract 9. Okay, so that's it for there. Now take a look. We're going to fill in the blanks to form an identity. Remember that in order to form an identity, you need to have the same thing on each side. Number 2, negative 5x plus 9. Well, we need another negative 5x. So you notice the blue is what I filled in. I plugged in a negative 5x. Okay, well, they give us 14n plus 16, so we need to put a 16 on this side because everything has to be the same for an identity. Notice this one. It gives us a negative 5 and a negative 13. We know that that's negative 18, but we have no variable. So our negative k here means we need a negative k there. Now this one's to form no solution. Remember, in order to form no solution, we need our variables to be the exact same, but our numbers not to be. So take a look at number 5. They gave us 5d plus 6. Well, we have minus 3d. We need something to put in there that'll make sure we get a 5d. So I chose 8d. 8d minus 3d will give us our 5d. Here, notice that our negative 2 times our negative 2 is a 4m. So we need to make sure that that 4m goes there so that we cancel. And last but certainly not least, we have 3y on this side, so we need to make sure that we add a y here so that we can get 3y on the other side and get a no solution. I skipped number 8 because I didn't feel like doing it. The last thing I want to do with you is describing and correcting the error. So notice we have 26 times 3 minus b equals negative 13 times b minus 1. Well, she used the distributive property. She did that, right? Well, what did she do next? She subtracted 13b from each side. Then she subtracted 78, and her final answer was negative 13 to get b equals 5. Well, notice, if we subtract 13, what are we going to get? We're going to get negative 26b. We don't want that. In order to get rid of this b, we have to add to both sides. So her mistake was subtracting. She should have added. Alrighty. Well, that's all I have for you in this video. I hope that it runs smoother than the last video and that it's perfectly good for you all. I know it's a little bit shorter, so try working on some of them on your own. Also, try doing the assignment that she gives you. Good luck. Have a great day. And my kids, if you're watching this as a review, remember that you can always come and see me if you have any questions. Have a good day, guys. Bye.